What are your cringy I'm not like other girls stories that you're embarrassed about or were unfortunate enough to witness? I was my best friend's maid of honor a few years back and we were wedding dress shopping, and this one quirky bride came in was like, whatever dress I get has to go with my red chucks. I am not one of those girls who wear heels, I've always been different. And the shop lady was like, actually, second to a traditional heel or ballet flat, chucks are a super common choice for our many low maintenance brides. And her whole attitude just deflated. Oh geez. I thought I was a stoner after the first time I smoked weed. I bought this Bob Marley shirt I wore all the time and done rasta colored bracelets, and I felt so cool. Passed out on a rock band drum set after smoking a blunt like it was a cigarette and decided that wasn't the life for me. Friend of mine started dating the single most dramatic girl I've ever met. We lived on the 4th floor. We always took the elevator. So, we all get in to go down to the lunch hall, and she literally dashes for the corner and starts rocking back and forth in a really sad act at being terrified. He runs over to hold her and explains she's terrified of elevators. First, she lived with us, on the same floor, for 2 months and we've all seen her on the elevator acting normal. Second, if you were really terrified of elevators, you just walk the 4 floors. It wasn't even that far up. Third, her acting was just terrible. Of course, a few weeks later, she forgot all about it and went back to acting normal on elevators again. I wore my dad's pirate boots from when he went as a pirate for Halloween in like 1988. Every day to school. I spent my middle school years wearing fake coontail extensions and saying "I'll kill you" to anyone who tried talking to me. Especially other girls. I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me, but I'm still lying awake at night replaying it all a decade later. Edit to answer a few questions. I guess I thought it made me cool and mysterious. I also bragged about not having any friends for some reason. I was a Girl Scout at the time as well, and it was so bad the troop leader suggested I find a new troop. I was very odd and standoffish, I had severe undiagnosed anxiety, and I never really developed basic social skills as a kid. Around 16 I finally realized how shitty I was and dropped the weird fake mean persona. I'm a well-adjusted adult now. And to clear this up, coontails are not race related. It's hair dyed in a striped pattern to resemble a raccoon tail. I had one pink and one blue that I insisted were real, and my bangs were bleached. I was a mess inside and out. Lamau. In high school, one of my teachers asked everyone to say one word describing themselves and I said classy. I die inside every time I remember it. A girl at school once commented on my Facebook picture, "You look cute less than 3 and edgy." Me said thanks. You're not getting a heart back, that would be dumb. A girl, when asked about interests, said I don't have any, I'm normal. I said stupid shit like, I'm watching/listening to dumb obscure thing. I bet you all don't know what that is. Facebook memories is going to be the death of me. Good thing is that if you thought your past self was cringe, why, it just means you grew as a person. Smile. I remember being like 14 and this 16 years old guy asked me what my fantasy was, and I said, well, I mean, most girls would like to have like Prince Charming on a white horse, but I don't like horses. I'm just different like that. He definitely meant sexual fantasies, not like romance, but I needed him to know I was cool and didn't like horses like other girls. I wasn't like other girls because I loved hats. Top hats, specifically. For like a year in 6th grade I think I wore a top hat to school and I thought I was the shit. It's funny now, but oh my god did I cringe for years after it. I had a phase where I would get all high and mighty about the fact that I didn't wear crop tops. I took 4 years of auto body repair in high school because I was clearly different than all the other girls. I did end up really liking it, but I started for all the wrong reasons. In high school, I had this friend who tried so hard to be one of the guys to the point where she would call herself that often. I didn't realize how cringy she was until I ran into her at a party in my 20s. She walked up to my boyfriend, currently my fiance, grabbed his hat, put it on her head backwards, then asked for a haul of his cigarette, she doesn't even smoke, and coughed profusely. She then proceeded to punch him in the stomach and started calling herself one of the guys again. A few of us just looked at each other awkwardly and slowly trickled away. I hated anything new or trendy because I thought I was cool and contrarian for it. From ages 13 to 16. I like to not think about it. Lady next door needed help breaking into her, probably not, son's friend's car. She said she could do it with fishing line and I happened to like to fish, so I had some braided heavy pound test and offered it to her. She pulls the amount she needs and tries to break it with her teeth. For a while me, mom, that's braided line. Oh no honey, I'm a country girl. I used to think I was a natural witch after watching The Craft for the first time. It was so cringy. The moodiest middle schooler ever. I miss it. Girl in uni said she wasn't like other girls cause she could hold her liquor like a man. So went shot for shot with this big dude. People tried to stop her but she was gonna prove herself. She kept saying she was fine. Finally when she flat out passed out and we ended up having to take her to the ER for what was alcohol poisoning, was pretty clear she was just super stupid in that moment. I'm 29, so I lived as a preteen/teen during the peak AIM days. Putting up away messages were the shit. Eating dinner with your family? Let the world know. BRB? Let them know. Taking a shower? Tell everyone. One of my away messages for just that was save water, shower with me with the kissy face that had the little beauty mark for some reason. OGAIM users, you know the one. I was honestly like 11. Literally had never kissed a boy. Guarantee I was also still wearing overalls, kids, and bucket hats. I'm a 4th grade teacher now, and I realize now that I was an actual baby at the time. I cringe just thinking about it. Overall, I would really like to go back in time and smack some sense into me. I always loved dolls and dressing up as a kid. I would spend all my free time playing with my dolls. But when I went to school I would scoff at the other girls for playing with dolls. I wanted to be seen as tough and cool. Spoiler, I was neither of those things. For my 10th B-day, my parents worked together to build me some doll furniture. Dad did a lot of woodworking, and Mum was good with a sewing machine. Together they created a cool little wardrobe and bed set for my dolls. They were painted white and had little flower stickers for decoration. My dad had even made a little mirror for my dolls to go on the inside of one wardrobe door, and Mum had sewn up a mini mattress for the bed. I just about cried when I opened my presents because I loved them so much. But my friend was sitting right beside me and I knew if I told my parents I loved the presents my friend would know I liked dolls. My lies would be undone. So I said, thanks, but I don't like dolls. They're for babies. My parents looked so fucking sad. I'm 25 years old and I'm crying as I type this because I still feel so fucking guilty 15 years later. A few years ago I got drunk at a family gathering and I sobbed to my dad and apologized for what I said, and told him I loved the present. He knew. So I got my apology out. But I still feel like such a cunt. I was into Sonic games when I was about 10 or something, and obviously that made me one of a fucking kind. I also got into more video games in my teens, which was just. No female person has ever played a video game, ever. And this one plays several? I don't have any cringe stories. I'm not like these other Redditors. I used to think I was so cool for not knowing how to order a Starbucks drink because I just drink regular coffee. By the way, I've always hated black coffee. I wanted to be emo but my parents wouldn't let me dye my hair or buy me new clothes, so I was just an ugly middle school girl with a shitty attitude in Bobby Jack outfits. Edit, I can't believe how much this blew up overnight. Thank you kind internet strangers for the awards and for sharing your emo stories as well. In high school, 2016, I had a girl convince me that I was basic because I listened to whatever was on the radio and knew the songs. I have 4 sisters, so of course I do. They didn't like my music. Well, one day, I caught her listening to a certain band and went, "Oh, what are you listening to?" She went, "Oh, you wouldn't know them, they're very out of your taste." I don't have a taste in music. I asked her to share the details, and she just kept telling me I didn't know them, and that she was going to their summertime concert just to appease the metalhead boys in our choir. Oh really? Where's the concert? Oh, it's in New York. Oh really? My dad never scheduled a concert there. Her heart visibly dropped as soon as she pieced 2 and 2 together. I have the same last name as the drummer. The band is local. It's my dad's band. I cringed so hard writing this because I can just remember her trying to convince me I didn't know my dad. Edit 1, thank you guys for gold. This is the first time I've ever gotten 1 TT to the power of TT. Edit 2, I won't drop the band name because it'll give away personal information. I read the Vampire Diaries series when it first came out in the late 90s, and I was 100% a vampire but no one else knew, of course. I even bought a lapis lazuli ring like the vampires wear in the books. Damn, I loved those books. Hashtag Team Damon forever. I tried to melt a plastic spork into a bracelet. There was a point in my life when I felt like I'm not like other girls if I don't complain too much, not be too emotional, have no strong opinions about anything, and basically go with the flow as much as I can. This lead to having no boundaries and a lot repressed mental health issues on my part. Can be a jack of all trades and knowledgeable about many different hobbies and interest. This lead to having a lot of equipment I barely use anymore, spending a lot more money, and I feel like I can never get past the basics of everything, which made me lose my sense of self. Basically didn't have my own identity and I could be any girl you wanted me to be. I'm not like other girls because I am all girls. I'm Whitney Houston, I'm every woman. Edit. Wow. It's both humbling and concerning, knowing so many people feel similarly. I guess we are all Whitney on this blessed day. I probably had most of my cringe moments as a teenager. I used to think I was cool because instead of using MSN or MySpace to gossip with schoolmates, I was on IRC and playing Counter-Strike or Diablo 2 with my online buddies. I only listened to metal and I always wore black clothing while decking myself out in chains, ha ha. On the plus side, with social media being in its infancy, most of my blunders have long been forgotten or were never immortalized online. I still have some quirky interests I guess, but I don't shy away from the mainstream either and now like to think of myself as a reasonably well-adjusted lady. I think everyone gets a pass for cringy teenage behavior/phases. I think the most embarrassing thing I can recall is my friend doing the nice gesture of showing me a song she thought I would like, because I was always going on about liking techno instead of pop. I listened to a few seconds, scoffed, frowned. "Remind me to show you some real music," I told her. What I showed her later was the competition music from Nintendogs. By opening up my Ds and entering a competition, I thought I was not like other girls because I didn't drink or party. I thought I was above my classmates who did. In reality I was just jealous because I was never invited. Probably because I was such a snob. I was a total pick-me and I cringe when I think about it. I played the ukulele and sang like a stereotypical wannabe manic pixie dream girl. I also tried to get into riding a motorcycle, but broke my foot on it on a motorcycle safety course designed to teach new riders how to ride. I refuse to even be a passenger on one of those things now. So freaking different and adventurous, SMH. I want to punch the teenage version of me in the face sometimes. Someone I know got up in front of her class in middle school and made a speech about why women aren't fit to be president. No, she doesn't believe that anymore, and yes, she still dies inside every time she thinks about it. Something so cliche, it hurts to even talk about. I am a girl, I work at GameStop here in Germany, so one might assume I am into video games. And for most people this isn't even something special anymore, so not even a thing worth mentioning. But we had that female customer who came into our shop and wanted to buy one of the Call of Duty games, I don't remember which one. And with the straightest face ever she came to the counter and told me, obviously female, and my male colleague without asking, yeah, that's right. I am a girl that plays video games. I love playing with my male friends. Like it was so rare and so special, and she felt so cool. Like so cool. I could barely keep a straight face while my colleague sold her the game, and we burst out laughing after she went out of the store. When I was in middle school we had to make those desk name plates for some teachers, and one of my friends was drawing on hers and wrote, "I am an otaku, so what?" When she showed me I said, "Why that? No one ever said anything about you liking anime?" She got upset and didn't talk to me for a week. For context, I am from Latin America, so liking anime isn't something weird, and she wasn't the only one who watched anime in my class either. I do not know what actually possessed me to do this, but once in like 3rd grade we took a field trip and were riding in a charter bus. I had a massive crush on the boy sitting in front of me, and his slightly older brother was sitting with him. We had passed something that smelled terrible and they were like, "Oh my god, what is that?" And I literally tapped one of them, was like, "Yeah, I'm so sorry, that was me, but I hadn't even farted." And then I told them about 2 or 3 more farts I had and apologized if they smelled them. I don't know why. Or what the fuck was wrong with me. It was the only reason I could think of to talk to them, I guess. I refused to wear the skirts in my school uniforms and wore trousers instead, even though 95% of the girls wore skirts. Then in my final year of school I tried to skirts and felt like an idiot for suffering for 4 years straight with trousers just so I didn't look like the other girls. Oh good lord, there are so many. At one point, I based my entire personality off of the fact that I listened to metal, and that preference made me different and special. I honestly looked down on girls for liking pop or even the color pink. In retrospect, I think I was just lashing out about how people focused so much on my femininity, also speculation about crushes and stuff, and I took it out on anything remotely feminine. In my defense, I was also like 10 years old. I cringe now, but it was the girls are too much drama phase for me. I was the drama. It's taken me a long time to stop looking at other women as competition. Now I crave female friendships. One of my best friends in high school decided to take a class in car mechanics. This friend also had zero interest in cars. When I asked her about it, I find out that she has this fantasy of being that girl who walks into a boy-only class and shows them all up. When she got to class the first day and there were 3 other girls enrolled, she was pretty unhappy. I used to wear a fedora and watch MLP. Fortunately, I stopped shortly before the neckbeard stereotype really solidified. God was really watching out for me on that one. I used to wear super high socks with bright pink mid-calf Converse, usually accompanied with a punk/screamo band hoodie. I was very not like other girls had style and I had bright pink abominations. As a teenage girl who grew up listening to classic rock, you can bet your ass I was one of those annoying modern music sucks, I wish I grew up in the 60s/70s/80s etc. type girls. Thankfully I grew out of that, and if I could go back in time and talk some sense into my younger self I would. I had no idea what the diff between PS4 Slim and PS4 Pro was, so while introducing myself to class on first day of 6th I said I had a Slim and played with it every day. Slipped up halfway through the year and my male friend called me out in a random convo for saying I had a Pro. I forgot I had to be consistent with my lies and instantly felt embarrassed and off guard, especially after my friends started yelling ooh and exposed. Made some dumbass excuse about how I broke my Slim and got a Pro, but the damage was already done. This was the phase in my life I had no identity and was a shape-shifting vagabond who had no real personality or interests, or at least, no interesting ones to share with my friends. But I guess I came off as a cringy not like other girls type of friend. Edit, I was a popular kid back then, so everything I said or did was mentally noted. I don't think it was that strange he remembered what I said, especially since it was when we were introducing ourselves for the first time to the class. I wore Argyle knee-high socks and Converse with my homecoming dress. I wore boxers under my skinny jeans like those emo guys in the early 2000s. I put maxi pads on my shoulders and told people I was going to try out for the football team. This was in middle school, but back then I was the ultimate pick-me girl. I hated One Direction and was very vocal about it. I had no reason. Everyone else loved them, so I wasn't like other girls. Same with Justin Bieber, but he did turn out to be a dick. Rar XD. I have the reverse version of this story. I'm a gay man, but hadn't come to terms with that at this point in my life, 9th grade. I had a girlfriend, but we were both good Christians, so we mostly just watched Disney movies and hung out. One night we were lying on the trampoline after watching Pocahontas and she said, "Gustav Holler, I like you 'cause you don't want what the other boys want." She was absolutely right. With almost everything I did, I felt proud of myself for supposedly not being like other girls. I didn't wear the same types of clothes other girls wore, I didn't wear makeup, I was so unique because I liked anime, all that kind of stuff. I tried way too hard to make friends with guys because apparently I thought they were better than girls. For some reason. I do cringe looking back on it, but I also feel sad about it. Girls shouldn't feel pitted against each other. A girl I had an extremely brief, not even one night stand with, sent me a questionnaire survey she made over a year later, asking me how she had performed and what would I change about her. We hadn't really talked in the meantime, nor since, but I did fill it out for her for a laugh. I didn't realize she wasn't joking. My Facebook history came up to haunt me with this today. 7 years ago I posted I just burnt my tongue on a piece of pizza, and I think that's a very strong metaphor that sometimes the things you love most in life will hurt you. Oof. Technically I'm talking about a guy. But it's basically the same. So we were in Spanish class, 8th grade. We were in a unit about activities and how to say what you like to do and what you don't like to do. One of the words was listening to music. One kid in my class, who is infamous for being extremely pretentious, raised his hand and said, "Is there a word for making music?" This on its own isn't that bad, I guess, but after the teacher answered him, the teacher also said that making music is cool. The kid started saying, "Yeah, I'm a musician. I think a lot of people think I'm pretty out there because of it." Then he started talking to the kid next to him about his music, the entire class. Oh, and another story with the same kid. We were in drama class one time. Every class we would get a question we have to answer when roll call gets to us. On that day, the question was, who is a musician you really like? Well, it gets to the kid and I shit you not, he says himself. I was phoning a girl in middle school and I was showing her my taxidermy bugs and she said, despite me not being a girl, lol, she said, lol, other girls shop for heels and stuff, while we collect stickers and bugs. Mine was when I was just trying to pretend I could work on cars because I had changed my own oil once. So, I was bragging to my sister and some of our guy friends about being such a badass girl, and told her I'd change hers. I got down to it and was draining the oil and noticed it looked really clean. It was transmission fluid. I drained the transmission fluid. I'm not like other girls, I'm strong and independent. Girl, you, justifiably, left your husband, and 2 weeks later your strong independent self moved your 2-year-old daughter in with a guy you met a week earlier because you can't bear to be single and haven't been for more than a month since you were 13. A girl I went to high school with was such a try-hard to be just that. She thought she was being cool and edgy with everyone because she thought everyone liked her and that her sense of humor was so good. Turns out she was just obnoxious and her humor was nothing but insults and demeaning comments about people on first glance. Biggest cringe moment was when we were trying out for soccer. Some of the men's soccer team were volunteering at the tryouts to help the coaches, taking notes, running drills, starting warm-ups, etc., and I was friends with them, either by classes or mutual friends. This chick got so butthurt at the fact that I was having a conversation with someone that she actually inserted herself into every conversation she saw me having to try and make herself look better and insult me. I brushed it off and moved on because I don't have time for that. Second biggest cringe was that she started a rumor that I was fucking a guy I was good friends with and that I was a slut. Turns out she didn't bother checking if he was in a relationship. He was in a 5-year relationship at that point. He called her out and told her that was the last straw and stopped being friends with her. Ended up making a lot of people feel real shady about her after that. My not like other girls face was unfortunately the hyper-religious kind. I'd wear the most unflattering clothes possible because modesty, smugly muttering modest is hottest at all the other girls who were, in hindsight, justifiably upset with the school dress code. I also blared contemporary Christian music from my phone far too often during sports events. The list goes on. Luckily it didn't last that long and I was able to actually get to know some of the other girls and made some good friends by the end of high school. This one girl said she's not like other girls and bit a hot dog right in the middle. I almost died from the cringe. Fucking mad lass. I was definitely one of those girls who was certain I could drink with the boys, which because I'm tall, I could drink more than some but nowhere near a heavyweight. I told myself I hated pink, polka dots and sparkles. Refused to go near any of it, even though I secretly loved them. I thought I could pass off as a cool girl by being able to talk about video games. Of course, there's a little sister, I never played any of them, I would just watch. It's honestly so frustrating that so much of my personality was essentially hidden for most of my teen years simply because I didn't want to be seen as weak. Weird how society defines anything girly as weak. I was 10 and didn't know how FB Messenger worked, so I sent hey to 12 boys individually, kind of like BCC, but instead I accidentally sent hey to 12 boys all in one FB message. Everyone was very confused. I watched a girl hit on her friend's boyfriend at my job. The boyfriend was not interested and she was basically like, I'm different than her, I'm better than her, choose me basically. Her friend was not paying attention. I cringed at it and I wanted to leave. I had a phase where I hated pink, makeup and other stereotypical girly stuff. Why? Because I hated having the same interests as the popular girls who bullied people like me for shits and giggles. On the class profile, I wrote that I want to be a goat. I went out with 2 friends to lunch, pre-COVID. One was kind of a girly girl, one was a stereotypical tomboy in one of the guys' type, but not in a good way, in a not like other girls trying too hard. They were meeting each other for the first time and basically anything my girly friend said she liked my other friend would immediately go, I hate that, or you actually like that. My girly friend went to the bathroom and my tomboy friend asked me why I was hanging out with a basic bitch. I told her she was out of line and needed to stop being an ass. She got up to leave and said it's not my fault, she's like every other girl and I'm not. I used to make fun of the girls in my class who wore makeup. Doing makeup is now my hobby, lol. There's this woman I follow on Twitter because about half of the things she says and retweets, I agree with and relate to wholeheartedly. But the other half are just the cringiest, most pick-me things ever. This lady is in her 40s and the other day she literally used the hashtag I'm not like other girls, and she used it because she was talking about how she can cut up poultry well because she used to be a vet tech that sometimes had to assist in necropsies. Huh? Dude, 1, no one cares, 2, this doesn't make you not like other girls, female vet techs are a dime a dozen, and like I said, this is a 40-something-year-old woman with a husband and kids. Yes, in that circumstance you probably should know how to prepare chicken. She says stuff like that all the time and thinks she's so different and quirky because she likes Halloween and horror movies and she works out, so she's such an athlete and so unlike every other woman everywhere. When in reality all of the shit she likes/does is so basic. And that's okay. That's how I am too. Most of what I like are basic, stereotypical girl things, and that is totally fine. Plus, in this day and age, nothing you like or do is really unique anyway. Even if your favorite holiday is Flag Day instead of Halloween or Christmas, I guarantee I could search some key terms online and find thousands of other people who agree with you. Like, man, you are just not that special, my dude. An acquaintance was really into being a cool girl and a cool wife and not like a regular wife and really chill and gives blowjobs every day of her period and would totally try a threesome and blah blah blah, constantly would accuse other women of being shrill and uptight. Well, her husband banged a stripper at his own bachelor party and gave his cool wife chlamydia. She is not so cool anymore but is still married to that very uncool husband. I wore a collar to school. A dog collar. In my defense, I didn't bark or growl at people. I just wore the collar as an accessory. I even swapped it for a necklace later on. Oh, we also had a horse girl / cow girl. Not sure what you'd call it. Anyways, she'd make sure everyone knew she wasn't a city girl. Out of nowhere. Most memorable was due biology lol. In late elementary / early middle school, I would get dressed up to go to, read, be taken to, GameStop, wear my favorite clothes, do my hair, etc., and once there, perusing the games, I would make sure to look pensively at games that I knew were popular with boys so that any boys in the store could see that I wasn't just there for The Sims and Harvest Moon, although I was, and was instead there for real games, unlike other girls. R.I.P. I'm sure no one actually noticed, but this thread unearthed these memories, and I'm currently cringing. I said if I end up going to college with any of you, then I've failed to my junior year math classmates. All I meant was that I wanted to go to an out-of-state college. I picked the absolute worst way to say it. I didn't realize until later how bad it sounded. When I went to play volleyball with my colleagues, which I hadn't played except like twice in gym in high school, as I was getting my bearings, a friend said to give me a second shot. It was a game for fun and I needed practice, so I figured I would take it. Another girl rolled her eyes and said I would never need another chance. She embarrassed both me and herself. Went out a couple times with a girl who said, I've just been through so much that I forget I'm 20 and it feels like I'm so much older than I really am. This same girl forced her way out of her parents' house and took one of her mom's cats out of spite. Also, her shared rent was being paid for by her dad, who she couldn't stand to live with anymore. In high school, a girl bragged to me that the only books she'd read were the Bible and the Twilight series. And she looked at me like I was supposed to be impressed. I really wanted to be Effie from Skins. I had an eating disorder and relished being told I looked like her. I also picked up smoking and drinking in high school. I thought blacking out made me seem cool. When I got to college, I was all I am, a carefree sorority girl. I have no feelings. Look at my cigarettes in my Tory Birch bag. I'll go shot for shot with the rugby guys. I'm one of the boys. And tried to be all aloof and shit. I am actually just anxious and needy and can't hold my alcohol. Weed stresses me out. I don't know how to be friends with girls because I'm socially awkward. Nothing to do with being one of the guys. That was just not a good time for me. Took a lot of therapy to get me to a good place, but I still hate to think about it. So this girl and I were seeing each other for a few months. Nothing too serious, wouldn't even say we were dating, but it was fun. She had some personal issues, and when they got too big for her, she needed to stop. She asked if we could hang out and we did. Then she told me she wanted to stop seeing me. We talked about it and I understood. When we were leaving, I wanted to be sweet but couldn't think of what to say. So I kissed her cheek and said that's a little something to remember me by. I still don't get any sleep because of that moment. I'm not like other girls, I love sports. Preferably fencing. I have lovely dark hair. My dad died when I was young. I'm a male. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. I remember telling my friend from my neighborhood that when I went school clothes shopping for the next year, I was only going to shop at Hot Topic. Probably going into 6th or 7th grade. Yeah, I didn't. I was 100% not a Hot Topic kid. The neighbor and I had a matching Winnie the Pooh sweaters the previous school year. In my teens, a lot of my female friends were lesbians because they said guys thought it was hot. They were surprised when most guys went to try their luck with the straight girls. So there's a part of me that wonders if I'm not like other girls comes from the idea that females aren't enough. So we're trying to prove we're more, often with masculine behaviors. And that thought kinda breaks my heart. Right. Here we go. Due to my parents' religious reasons, I'm not allowed to wear shirts that are above the elbow and pants that are not above the calf. I was basically covered, and due to this I used to look at the girls at my school that wore shorts and crop tops and think, I'm not like them. I'm different. I'm cooler that way. And all that. Good God, I was whack. On many other occasions I used to think that gaming and not belong very ladylike, yay. Wearing sweats and hoods, being dirty, swearing, saying bro or dude etc. was something that also made me very unique and different. By being not like other girls I would catch the boys' attention and all that. Lol, I did not. I thought I looked cool, but in reality I was a sweaty sponge dipped and rolled in dirt with popcorn nasty ass teeth, and I looked and acted like shit. Those were the bad times. But now I'm a good, functioning member of society with good hygiene and a better mindset. I had been following a remarkable doctor's blog for a few years before my friends got to know him. Eventually, they enrolled in a class he was teaching. I was too broke for it. They all thought he was a great teacher and I was kind of envious. I messaged them a link to his blog and said that I knew him before he was famous. I wanted to slap myself. We were a pack of guys in their 20s or old teenagers. We loved nothing but heavy metal, pagan stuff. You know the drill. Anything remotely Nordic before the Viking trend. This girl was desperate to fit in. She tried it all. Flirting. Being a brat. Feeding us. Trying to be darker. But the worst was trying to get us drunk. She was a cute little woman, we were heavy drinkers and fat dudes. Then came the one of the wolf pack attitude. She tried to pee on trees with us. She failed and fell down in the result. She went full nervous breakdown and we parted ways. Nice girl. Too pushy. I made an entire FB group page dedicated to my hatred towards the movie Twilight. I made it years ago and I still can't figure out how to delete it. Well, I never really figured out that I could just like things because I liked them. Not because they had to contribute to some kind of identity I was trying to create. I mimicked everyone else's personality for a while, because I kept trying to create my own out of items instead of values. So I had a lot of these moments. I judged women for wearing funky things when I was in a classy phase. I judged women for dressing boring when I was in my rhinestone bling phase. Now I would like to support other women in whatever they choose to wear and be, and also not define myself by such a strict set of rules. I'm sure I said a lot of cringy things along the way. Told everyone in the 4th grade I ate cat food for snacks. Guy brought meow mix to school and told me to eat it. I did. I don't even know, man. I don't even know. If I think about it hard enough, to this day, I still cry. This is a story from a long time ago. Made me laugh. I was at a Halloween party with my then BF, and this girl he worked with thought she would impress him, flirting, I guess, with the statement of "I have the best looking vagina of all time." The guys were a little taken aback by her declaration. I reminded them that in order to make this statement she A. looks at us in the mirror a lot, and B. she looks at others for comparison purposes. She did not get the desired response. This will get buried in the comments, but I got to tell it. There was a girl I peripherally knew in college who always wanted to be the center of attention, be a guy's girl, but very obviously, and it was somewhat cringeworthy. One day she was walking past one of the men's varsity sports teams, I think football or soccer, and decided to nonchalantly do a handspring/backflip thing. She used to be a gymnast. She fucked up the landing so bad that she broke both her legs and tore her ACLs. Had to have EMTs come and get her loaded up into an ambulance right from the sideline of the field while they finished their practice, and then it took a year for her to recover.